Hi guys, my name is Roger, and ever since I was a teenager, I've always wanted to build my own car. I started this channel to see if an average person, like me, can design and build their own mid-engine car. If you like what you see here in my videos, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you know someone who you think might be interested in my videos, please share the videos with them. I'll be adding a new video every week, and with that out of the way, let's get started with this week's video. Well, we finally received the turbos back in, and well, the turbo fittings, these elbows. They welded these pieces on for the wastegates. I had them angle them in like 10 to 15 degrees, somewhere in that range, so they wouldn't be close to interfering with this, and I'd have plenty of room for plumbing. I had quite a bit of trouble getting these pieces back here. I've waited for several weeks. I was very frustrated with the company. They do excellent work, but their customer service is horrible. And finally had to call them and threaten them, tell them I needed my parts in the box, shipped overnight today. I called them a couple of days ago, and they did finish them and ship them at their expense that night. But we wasted most of the week this week. I've only worked on the car the last couple of days. Once these came back in, I did mount them here, put the turbos back on in what I think is the correct position. I've hooked the oil lines up just to check the length, and both of these lines look like they're the correct length. I have mounted the wastegates here just to see where they wound up at, what angle and how far back. Now that I know how far back they come, I'm ready to weld these mounting brackets back on for this X-brace and finish the X-brace. But before we do that, these fittings had came in, and I started, since the turbos were here, I knew exactly where to run them to. I started cutting and welding these fittings together to make this cold air intake. You can see kind of what it looks like, how it's going to run. If you can see all these crazy angles. It was a lot of work to get this together. My welder was giving me some trouble, so my welds don't look the greatest, but they'll be okay. I still need fittings, the silicone fittings, to go between the turbos and the tubes on both sides. I have the clamps here. I thought I had ordered those tubes, but I guess I did not. I only ordered the 4-inch for here. But that's what that piece will look like. I'll get those silicone tubes on order so we can bolt that in and permanent and see what it looks like. But other than the wales being just so-so, I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. It looks nice. The air flows fairly smoothly, and I believe that'll work good. Also, the air to water intercooler, or the heat exchanger for the intercooler, came in. I'm not 100% sure it's going to go on this side, but I believe it will. I'm trying to keep all of the water components, the radiator, the overflow tank, and this heat exchanger right here together, so when you remove one panel, you can fill all three with water and keep them full. And also that puts all of the water on this side of the car when all of the electrical components will be over on this side. And I don't want the water and electrical together on the same side in case there's a leak, because electronics and water don't play well together. But I am not sure where this heat exchanger is going to go, but this area is roughly where it goes. I think it'll stick out farther to the right, being more in front of this tire, and possibly being leaned back at an angle. But I need to do some investigating and see exactly where I need this to go. It's going to be a few days before we mount that. I want to finish this cold air intake tube with the silicones, get that mounted in and make sure it looks like it'll work correctly. And then I think we'll move on to this X-brace, get these mounts and this X-brace finished and installed back in the car. And then now that the turbos are here, I can start measuring for exhaust. Not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I have a plan I'm going to try. Thinking about welding the muffler straight onto the exhaust here, and it'll be an offset muffler, so the tube will come in, the muffler will be sitting back over this direction and come around. And I'm looking at some mufflers that have a bypass tube in them, so you can run them through the muffler to keep your neighbors happy here in the neighborhood. And then once you're out on the open road, you can open it up and bypass just a straight tube through the muffler, so they won't actually be muffled at all. And they have a couple settings in between, so you can run partial mufflers, anywhere from full muffler to no mufflers at all. I kind of like that idea if I can find a set that looks like they're good quality and the measurements work out for me. But anyway, I guess that's going to be about a wrap for this week, and I'll see you guys again in 1 week.